absolutely nothing when a user types too much on the screen. That's what happens. It just goes right off the page. And that's what we did. 3 years later, still to this day, if you go to one of our captioning tools and you write too much, it just goes off the screen. No warning, no auto anything, it just goes off the screen. In fact, this method was so successful, we ended up with more than 1 million images in one folder on a $6 monthly shared hosting account. And the department had called us and said, you need to get off this box because you're using up all of our hard drive space. And what we had realized was that, by the way, we had to actually write a special tool to call up the file list because Windows wouldn't let you call up 1 million files on a folder. It would just crash. Just a tip. It took us 3 weeks to actually get those images off because we had to write a tool. So what this really taught us was that if you made something simple enough, human beings are very good at learning by trial and error. I wrote something, I saved it, wait, what happened to the rest of my caption? Oh, I wrote too much. Well, I'll go try it again. It took just mere seconds for people to try. So they kept on trying over and over and over again. And it was a great way for them to learn, and a great way for us to work our little 4 hours, which really actually worked 4 hours, but to finish the project in as quick of a time as possible. The entire image building software that ran our company for 2 years was done over a weekend, and it wasn't touched ever since. Right? And it was reliable, it was stable, it was simple, and people seemed to love it. No one ever came and said, can you make that font thing wrap automatically? Like, no one asked for those features that engineers would love to build. We actually took the same mentality about simplicity to our video system. We run this site called the Fail Blog, failblog.org, and basically it's photos and videos of people failing at life. It's just kind of weird. I'm in that business. Like, that's my business. If you've heard anybody say the word fail to you, I apologize. It is probably our fault. We purchased the domain and the site was pretty small at the time, in April or March of 2008. And then all these banks started failing. I was like, damn it, they're using our word. They're failing. And then it turned out that was like the best thing that ever happened to Failblog, because then everybody started Googling the word fail, and then Google would just point at us and say, if you're feeling lucky, go to that site. And they're like, I don't understand. I typed in the word fail, and you're showing me pictures of people falling on their faces. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much it. So somebody sent us a video, and I said, we don't do video. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't have money to post video. And then we thought, why don't we just put it on YouTube? Oh, okay. Well, it's free hosting, right? We can embed YouTube players into your blog. I said, okay, well, we'll just create an account and toss up a few videos. 16 months later, it was the most amazing growth I've ever seen. We are now the 5th most watched channel in all of YouTube's history of people getting kicked in the nuts. Like, of newscasters saying the F-bomb on the air by accident. All right? I mean, it's things like this, that small failures at life, that other people kind of look at it and go, oh, that's funny, but really, it's not entertainment, it's not scripted comedy. We thought, bring it, give it all to us, and we'll take care of it. And so we've amassed more than 1 billion views. It's the #1 comedy channel, and we have no idea what we've created, because it's still all on YouTube. So these simple things have really helped Failblog grow to be one of the largest blogs on the internet, period. In fact, if you're familiar with WordPress.com, we account the Cheezburger network on all of our sites. We run almost entirely on WordPress.com for our publishing side. We account for 12% of all WordPress.com traffic. Yeah, that's a staggering number. It's us and CNN. Like, I kid you not, like, there's a metric dashboard if you go to WordPress, and they're like, who's the biggest WordPress account holder? It's the Cheezburger network and CNN. That's great. I'm glad that we're ruining society, as somebody had told me. So we've gone through this amazing growth period from one person sitting at his couch at home to a company of about 45 people who are working out of the Seattle and other offices in the country. And so when will the madness end? What is this craziness where we're sending you photos of misspelled, fruits, and people post on Failblog, and it gets virally spread from one another. What is the world coming to? And I like to give them this little diagram. The sun is a place you just can't walk into, which is like Mordor. And the media companies who was like planet Earth, that said, we're safe and sound, and we're the media, and we control everything on this little planet called Earth, and the sun is like a bunch of users like this guy. And we shall not touch them. Because the unwashed masses are just not fit to create content. And then Al Gore came along. And this is exactly why he went to do that. When you look at Google, Facebook, and Twitter, the 3 largest publishers in the world, in terms of reach, because they basically make most of their money through advertising. If you look at the 3 largest publishers in the world, none of them create their own content. Right? Let's think about that for a second. None of these guys. They make like AdSense, like Facebook ads, Twitter with their sponsored posts and things like that. They don't produce any of their content, and yet they publish more content than probably all the media companies in the world combined. Right? The world has changed to a point where we would much rather listen to each other than to the pundits on television or read the newspaper. Because we found value in humanity, in one another. And that's what's really simple about this. Complexity has an inverse effect on your business's ability to scale. Who would have thought that it would be so much simpler to let people talk to one another? And this clogged artery, the 5-layer burrito comparison from one of our sites. The more layers you add to your business, the more clogged up that process gets. That's the analogy I'm trying to make. The more complicated you make your business, the harder it will be for your business to grow. And so we've tried to keep everything as simple as possible. Because I'm not really here to try to impress anyone with my business. I just want it to work, right? I'm not sure what that photo has in common to with my slide, but see, let's keep it simple. I'll just be entertaining. So how do you stay simple? How do you keep that business focused and simple so you can continue to grow? Well, I'm going to introduce you to the MPH methodology, and it stands for Mr. Potato Head. It applies to technology, organization charts, product development. It applies to pretty much all facets of business. And MPH, Mr. Potato Head, states that if a significant component is lost, it'll be ugly, but no one dies. Right? So you basically rip out a web server, nothing dies. Like it might run a little bit slow, or maybe the experience isn't great, but you're still up and running. And I call this structural independence. If Farmville died tomorrow, I would sacrifice a small cow. But if Farmville died tomorrow, Facebook would be just fine. Right? Farmville, which is the greatest money generator known to man on the internet, disappeared. Facebook wouldn't blink. Because there's structural independence. One would not take down another. Well, Facebook would take down Farmville, but now they're trying to get off of Facebook so they can build their own network. Right? So they're trying to gain structural independence. And we can actually build in structural independence within a business. So we, Mr. Potato Head, with partners with proven scalability. And I'll explain that in a minute. These are companies that we partner with. WordPress, JSKit for our ratings and comments, Vidler for our videos, Google Apps, Skype, Amazon S3, dozens of open source applications. And what they have in common is that they're fire and forget. And you just basically create a WordPress.com account, you create a blog, or you get on Skype, and let's say there's a problem, let's say Skype is down. How many people here how many of you have actually emailed Google and said, hey, Gmail's down? Anyone? Wouldn't you? By the way, I need that email address because I can't find one. I don't know who to contact when Gmail's down. Right? These are applications that are used by so many people. When Gmail's down, I go get a bagel. By the time I get back, it's back up. And I haven't called anybody. How do they know?